Hey guys, what's up? It's John with Educated Arms. Wanted to put together a quick video for you guys breaking down constitutional carry in Texas. We've gotten a lot of emails, phone calls, smoke signals with people asking about constitutional carry in Texas and has it been passed and is it going to get passed and when it will take effect and all that fun stuff. And so we figured we'd make a quick video breaking down kind of where it sits in legislation and where it still has to go in order to get passed and get to the governor's desk to get signed to get enacted into law. Alright guys, so let's take a look and kind of see where we are at. So if you're watching this video, you either live in Texas or you're interested in what's happening in Texas. And so yesterday, House Bill 1927 passed a vote in the Texas House of Representatives, and that is basically the constitutional carry bill that everybody has been kind of talking about. It now will have to travel and make its way into the Senate, where they will deliberate upon it and hopefully bring it to the floor for a vote. And then after it passes the Senate, assuming it passes the Senate, it would then go to the governor's desk to get signed and to get enacted by the governor and enacted as law here in Texas, and it ultimately would have a date attached to it as to when it goes into effect, much like open carry and the other bills that have passed over the years here in Texas. So to answer the most common question we've gotten asked so far is constitutional carry passed in Texas as of today? No, it has not passed yet. It has passed the House. Again, still has to go to the Senate, pass the Senate, and then go to the governor's desk to get signed by the governor to get enacted by law. Do we think it's going to pass? That is a really tough decision. I would tell you early on in the legislative session, the people that we spoke with were not confident that it would get out of the House. They did say that if it got out of the House, that the Senate would be possibly a little bit more difficult to pass. And of course, there's always been those people that have said that Governor Abbott has come out and said in previous years that he was not a big supporter of constitutional carry and wouldn't sign that bill if it got to his desk. Our analysis of it as of today is this. It passed the House, obviously, and it passed the House in a pretty big number. It has picked up a ton of publicity, even in the past 48 hours, with a lot of major publications posting articles and stories on it. So do I think it'll pass the Senate? I think it's got a pretty good chance at this point of passing the Senate. I also think Governor Abbott probably cannot afford at this point in his political career to not sign it into law. An election year is coming up. He's up for re-election in 2022. We know that he's not running unopposed on the Republican side of things, and he's got some people that he's going to have to face early on the Republican side. And so I do think that if this passes the Senate, Governor Abbott will sign it and enact it as law. And so that's kind of where it stands and where it sits in the legislative process. Now, the next question we've gotten asked from a lot of people is, where do we as a company, where do I as our CEO stand on this? And obviously we teach these license to carry classes, and where do we stand on it? And I'll tell you guys the same thing I've told different reporters that we've talked to over the last few days is you cannot call yourself, in my opinion, a firm believer of the Second Amendment and not support constitutional carry. So we full well support this bill. And I would love nothing more than to see constitutional carry get passed here in Texas. Now, that's not to say that it won't hurt us maybe a little bit financially, but we are a very broad company that does a wide array of things, and we will continue doing all the firearms instruction that we do along with everything else, and we will be just fine in this, and I hope that this brings us one step closer to getting some more Pro 2A bills passed here in Texas this legislative session. Constitutional carry being obviously a big one, but the other big one is the 2A sanctuary bill that would make Texas a 2A sanctuary state. It would basically null and void a lot of the federal gun laws that have come down the pipeline here in Texas. So that's kind of where we're at. Again, guys, we probably won't see an answer on this, on where it passes in the Senate, probably not for another week or two. So I wouldn't expect this whole thing to kind of come to full circle until the end of the month or beginning of May before we get to that point. Now, I may be mistaken on it, but that's kind of where we're at on that part of it. Now, I'm going to touch on one other thing real quick for you guys, because this has picked up some steam as well. There is a group of instructors here in Texas, LTC instructors, I'll tell you that, 54 of them to be exact, that signed a document that went to the Texas House. Now, this document was never meant to be made public. We received the email in April requesting us to sign the document. We declined. And it's basically a small group of instructors here in Texas that signed this document requesting that the House not pass constitutional carry, that it would essentially would hurt their bottom line, would hurt them from a financial standpoint, and then they also did not think that, I guess, that Texans were responsible enough to carry handguns without their license to carry. I'll tell you guys this. Obviously, we're totally against that. We're totally against these individuals who signed this paperwork, this email. 20 other states have constitutional carry laws or similar on the books. 20. Texas would be 21. So that's almost half the United States. And we have not had Wild West situations and shootouts and these kinds of things stemming from concealed and open carry without a permit. So we're not super concerned about it. You still are going to have, to my knowledge, a license to carry here in Texas if you're wanting to have reciprocity, which means if you're wanting to travel to other states and use your permit to carry a handgun in other states, you'll still have to have a license to carry. And for those of you guys that have watched our previous videos, you're still going to have a license to carry if you want to bypass that pesky background check on your 4473s, which means, when you go in to buy a gun and you fill out that 4473 form, if you have a Texas license to carry, a background check doesn't have to be done on you at that time. Your license to carry essentially acts as a walking, talking background check for you on that form. So that's two of probably several other reasons that people will still get their license to carries here in Texas. And so, yes, I think the number of people getting them will diminish over time. But again, there will still be a fair amount of people that will get them. So that hopefully gives you guys the basics. Again, that's about as basic as I can get it for you on information on constitutional carry in Texas. Let us know what you think. Fire it off in the comments. You're for it, you're against it. What are your comments? What are you afraid of? We'll try to help answer your questions as best we can and try to help educate you guys in that process. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.